What's up, guys? Welcome to the Fantasy Addiction Network. Today we are talking Week 15 game preview of the New York Jets facing the Baltimore Ravens at home. Man, I feel bad for the New York Jets. It's been a rough season for them, and then they get to go against the buzzsaw, the Baltimore Ravens, on the road this week. The over-under from Vegas right now is at 45.5. I am actually surprised it's as high as it is. The spread is much obviously favoring the Ravens. Right now, the implied points for the Ravens is 30, and the Jets is at about 16. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens don't score as much as they're being expected to right now. That's not to say that I think this is going to be a close game. I think the Jets barely do anything in this game. I think it just ends up being a lower scoring affair all around. I don't think Lamar Jackson's injury is going to hamper him too much, but they're definitely going to take it easy with Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews both nursing injuries right now. But we'll start with the Jets side of the ball. From a fantasy perspective, there's no way you can trust Sam Darnold in this one. The Ravens defense has been playing lights out against the quarterback, especially the last couple weeks. Avoid Sam Darnold at all costs. Not even in a two-quarterback league. I'd much rather play a quarterback like Drew Lock or Devlin Hodges than Sam Darnold this week. Just don't play Sam Darnold. And don't play Devlin Hodges either, but definitely don't play Sam Darnold. From a running back perspective, this one is a little bit curious to me. There's been a bunch of interesting drama over the past week with Le'Veon Bell's illness and then him going to play bowling on the night that he was recovering, like before the game started. So, like, the Jets are perturbed at Le'Veon Bell's actions, and Le'Veon Bell is like, "What? You want to tell me how to live my life?" Like, it's just a mess. The Jets organization is just, they don't know how to run a football team, which is sad because they play in the same division as the best run organization in the league. You think they would learn something or two, but they seem to not be able to learn their lessons. But back to fantasy, I do think that Bell is actually a good start in this game. Now, hear me out on this one. The Ravens can be beat on the ground, and they can be beat with check down passes to the running back. 2 weeks ago, we saw Raheem Mostert go off against this defense, and then last week we saw Devin Singletary have a really good game. Now, not every running back is going to be good enough to do that, but I think Bell is. Obviously, Bell hasn't had a very good season, but he's still a very talented running back, and I think if the Jets have any success on offense, it's going to be with getting the ball to Bell in the short pass game, and I think he'll have a decent game on the ground. So if you have Le'Veon Bell, I would look to start him this week. From a wide receiver perspective, I'm not looking to start anyone, not even Robbie Anderson. I know Robbie Anderson has been having a resurgence, basically trying to do a reprise from last year where he was the number one receiver in fantasy over the last couple weeks of the season. But I think this is where he finally runs into a brick wall. The Ravens have been playing absolutely lights out against the fantasy receivers. I think the likelihood of Robbie Anderson having a big touchdown in this game is very, very low. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing volume in his direction this game. I think there end up being quite a few 3-and-outs. So pretty much the only offensive weapon I'm looking to start on the Jets side of the ball is Le'Veon Bell. Otherwise, I'm shying away. And I'm most certainly not starting the Jets defense. There's no way you're starting a defense against Lamar Jackson at this point, but especially not this week. All right, well, let's look at the Ravens side of the ball. I don't think anyone is benching Lamar Jackson. If you're in the fantasy playoffs and you have Lamar Jackson, he's one of the main reasons why you're there. So know that he might underwhelm a little bit this week, but his version of underwhelming is still worth a start in fantasy because, like, an underwhelming performance from Lamar Jackson still might be like the number 8 quarterback on the week. So there's no way you're benching Lamar. Mark Ingram is the one that you have to think about a little bit. He's had 2 down weeks. He came very close to 2 touchdowns last week. So if you had him, it's pretty disappointing to know that stat. But overall, they're still using Ingram on the goal line. It's not like he's getting his goal line touches taken away from him. Yes, the New York Jets actually have a pretty good run defense, but if the Baltimore Ravens are going to score points like Vegas is expecting them to, I don't think a lot of that's going to come through the air. So Ingram could still have a very good week this week. If you have him, I'm not scared to start him. Go ahead and start Mark Ingram. From a wide receiver perspective, I just put nope. I'm not starting anyone that has a wide receiver designation for the Ravens this week. Pretty much the only time you've been able to trust Marquise Brown is when he's playing against a bad defense, and the Jets are actually pretty decent against the wide receivers, so I'm not looking to start any one of the receivers for the Ravens this week. And then the tight ends are a little bit tricky too. Typically, Mark Andrews is someone that you've been relying and trusting all week, but I'm trying to avoid Andrews if I can this week. Andrews is dealing with a injury that had him sidelined for most of the game against the Bills, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a major injury, so I think he's actually going to play this week, but I don't know how much he's going to play. He could very likely be on a pitch count to avoid any re-injury. And overall, the Titans actually have, or I'm sorry, not the Titans, the Jets have a very good defense against the tight end. So overall, I don't know how much volume Mark Andrews is going to see tonight. So if he's on a pitch count playing against a really tough defense, I'm nervous about starting Mark Andrews this week. I mean, obviously you're not going to bench him for junk, but if you have a better start this week, I would make sure to take that chance and put Mark Andrews on my bench. If he goes off, I know you're going to be sad, but overall, I think there's much better plays out there than Mark Andrews this week. And then from a defensive side of the ball, I think the Ravens defense could very likely be the number one defense on the week. So if you play in a league that has team defense, just throw the Baltimore Ravens in there and be happy with the results. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll be previewing the rest of the games here on this channel, so feel free to like and subscribe for more content all season long. And we will see you in the next video.